Alright, let's talk about something that can feel incredibly complicated but is actually simpler than you might think. Investing in stocks. When you buy a stock or a share, you're buying a tiny little piece of a company. If that company does well, makes a lot of money and grows, the value of your tiny piece can go up. It's about understanding what a company does, how it makes money, and what its future looks like before you decide to hand over your hard-earned cash. It's less about timing the market perfectly, and more about time in the market with solid companies. So, what exactly is Rumble? Think of it as a video sharing platform, similar in concept to YouTube. However, its big selling point and mission is a focus on free speech, aiming to attract creators and viewers who feel that larger, more established platforms have become too restrictive with their content policies. This is where it gets tricky, and you need to pay close attention. In fact, it's been losing a significant amount of money as it spends heavily to attract big-name creators. While its user numbers have been growing, which is a positive sign, the company's expenses are growing right alongside them. When you look at expert opinions, they are very divided on Rumble. Second, its direct competitor is YouTube, which is owned by Google, one of the largest and most powerful companies in the world. For a new investor, RMBL is a high-risk, high-reward play. It's a story stock, and you have to believe in the story. Let's switch gears and talk about something that runs in the background of our digital lives. Cybersecurity. Radware is an Israeli company that acts like a digital bodyguard for businesses. Specifically, they are experts in stopping things like DDoS, or distributed denial of service attacks. Looking at its performance, Radware is what you might call a slow and steady player. The cybersecurity market is incredibly competitive, with many large and small players fighting for a piece of the pie. So, for a new investor, RDWR represents a more conservative choice. Let's imagine you own an online store. You need a website, a way to recommend products to customers, and a search bar that actually works. That's where a company like Bridgeline Digital comes in. Their platform, called HawkSearch, is a smart search tool that helps customers find exactly what they're looking for on a website. Bridgeline is a very small company, what's known as a micro-cap stock. However, more recently, it has made a significant turnaround. For a new investor, BLIN is a high-risk proposition. It's an interesting turnaround story, but its small size means you have to be prepared for a very bumpy ride. Let's talk about a company that, honestly, you've probably never heard of, but whose products you almost certainly rely on every single day. Bel Fuse is a company that makes the essential electronic components that power our world. They manufacture things like fuses, magnetic components, and power supplies that go into everything from data centers and electric vehicles to airplanes and networking equipment. In recent years, the company has been performing very well. The company is profitable, pays a dividend to its shareholders, and has been actively paying down its debt. They see the increasing electrification of our world, from the build-out of 5G networks to the explosion of data centers and the shift to electric cars, as a massive tailwind for the company. For a new investor, though, BLFB looks like one of the more fundamentally sound and reasonably valued companies on our list. Now for something completely different: space. Their main product is a service vehicle, the Vigoride, designed to be launched into orbit on a larger rocket, like one from SpaceX. This last-mile delivery service in space could be incredibly valuable, as it allows satellite companies to get their assets exactly where they need to be. Looking at the performance of Momentus, this is where, well, the reality check comes in. The company has faced numerous technical and regulatory delays in the past, and its stock price has fallen dramatically. For a beginner, MNTS is an extremely speculative and high-risk stock. It's closer to a venture capital bet than a traditional stock investment. Alright, let's move from outer space to inner space, the human brain. Ovid Therapeutics is a biopharmaceutical company that focuses on developing medicines for rare neurological disorders. Their goal is to bring new, life-changing therapies to patients who are desperately in need of them. In the world of biotech, success is binary. A successful clinical trial can cause a stock to soar, while a failed trial can cause it to collapse overnight. Investing in a clinical stage biotech company like Ovid is one of the riskiest things you can do in the stock market. For a new investor, this level of risk is likely inappropriate. Ovid is a stock best left to specialists and professional biotech investors. Okay, let's dive into another industry that's not exactly glamorous but is absolutely essential: insurance. Sapiens International is a company that provides the software that insurance companies use to run their entire businesses. In simple terms, they provide the digital backbone for the insurance industry, helping old-school companies modernize their operations. Looking at its performance, Sapiens is a story of steady, consistent growth. Experts see a long runway for growth as the digital transformation of the insurance industry is still in its early innings. However, for a new investor looking for a blend of growth and stability, SPNS presents a compelling case. Finally, let's look at a company that has generated a lot of buzz and controversy, Safety Shot. This company is developing and marketing a beverage that it claims can rapidly reduce blood alcohol content and improve central nervous system recovery after alcohol consumption. The company is marketing this as a wellness and safety product, targeting a massive potential market of social drinkers. When we examine the company's performance, it's crucial to understand that Safety Shot is a very new and speculative venture. The scientific and medical communities have expressed significant skepticism about the company's claims. For a new investor, Shot is an extremely dangerous and speculative stock. It carries all the hallmarks of a risky penny stock, and the probability of losing money is exceptionally high. So, after looking under the hood of these 9 different companies, what have we learned? For a new investor, the most important lesson is to understand this difference. Your goal should be to start with companies that have a proven track record. It's about building wealth slowly and surely, not swinging for the fences and striking out. On the more promising and less risky side of the spectrum, we have companies like Belfuse and Sapiens International. In the middle, we have the higher risk, higher reward stories. Rumble and Bridgeline Digital fit here. Finally, we have the extremely speculative and, for a beginner, dangerous category. This is where Momentus, Ovid Therapeutics, and Safety Shot belong. New investors should avoid these types of stocks entirely. Your journey into investing should start on solid ground, not on a lottery ticket. Focus on learning, start with quality, and let the power of compounding do the heavy lifting for you over time. Remember, every single dollar you invest is a dollar you worked for. That means it deserves respect and careful consideration.